Okay, my name's Marilyn. I'm a targeted individual. And my targeting is specific to me. Um, I'd spoken to Dr. John Hall years ago, and he said it could be possible that I'm being targeted because I'm black. Um, this may be true. It seems true now. And I have a feeling that there are a lot of black people that are being targeted specifically because they have certain characteristics that make it easy for them to be targeted. One of them is that they don't have the ability to think critically. So it's January 29th. It's Wednesday, 11:52 a.m. Okay, so I'm going to go over some things I heard from the perps and synthetic telepathy. And I usually keep a notebook. It's like a journal. So I can write down in the middle of the night. I'll try to ask questions when they're half asleep. So what I found out is that one of the perpetrators, Charles, middle name Avery or last name Avery, he's a registered sex offender. He may not be listed anymore for some reason. I think he pretended to have a mental health issue, and he's a gang stalker, and he rapes women and men, and he tortures me. He's been torturing me for about 4 years. He's in his 50s. He lives with Natasha Williams. This may or may not be her name. She has been involved in making child pornography through synthetic telepathy. They share each other's thoughts, they see each other's thoughts, and they make kiddie porn for a bunch of pedophiles, mainly white in Kettering, and for many black men and women in Dayton, Ohio. And this is totally monitored by the government, so the government's aware of this. So, children are not protected, okay? And they've just found another way to practice child abuse, and it's in R&M. If you are caught looking at child pornography on your computer, or you have a video of that in your home, you go to prison. You go straight to prison. Natasha is a black female, and I think she's in her 30s. She could be 40 by now, I don't know. It's been about 4 years she's been watching me. She's psychotic, she's dangerous. She's a crackhead, and she has a child. She may have other children. She beat her daughter, lost custody. She's very abusive to everyone in the hive, especially me. And what's happened is that the perps are trying to protect each other from each other. These are the black gang stalkers. They're psychotic. There's something going on with the black mind that's different than white minds, and I'm not going to change that thought because I'm experiencing synthetic telepathy from two ethnic groups, Europeans and Africans, of African descent. And like the perp just said, mixed race people. I'm a mixed race. I don't know who those people are. I can just look in the mirror and see that. So this is sick. So she's having sex with this man, and the sodomite, number one, he can't stand being in the hive, and he's a nasty pedophile who's got AIDS, and he sometimes tells me things about the other perps. He's a gay black man who had sex with a teenager in his mother's apartment in DeSoto Bass in Dayton, Ohio. And he was remotely viewed doing this. This is what he said, because they look at each other's memories and try to hold guilt and use it to pressure people to be in this hive. And there's a contractor getting paid lots of money, and sometimes they're buying them cocaine. When they don't buy them cocaine, guess what they do? They are stringing these people out on crack and cocaine, And then someone will say, well, you have a welfare check. Why don't you get cocaine? And I'll protect you in the hive. Okay, someone's trying to talk for me. So I'm the one that gets battered the most. And they'll say to me, I'll protect you from the other perps if you get me high. Okay? And so basically, they run through welfare checks of targeted individuals who have been converted into perps. All the men are rapists. The men who are gang stalkers and remote neural monitoring are poor, working class, middle class backgrounds. They are not trained military soldiers. These are not soldiers. These are poor people who were targeted and then asked if they wanted to be a gang stalker. And they said yes. And then whoever the contractor is, handler, the handler to me is someone who operates a computer that has our brains on it, links brains together. They can unlink a brain just like any computer program, put brains together anywhere in the world, okay? They could tie you to other people and you wouldn't know it. They can mute them so you couldn't hear them. They can turn their eyes on and off so they can see through you or not. They can adjust the microwave pulse weapon so that you see the other people's thoughts and it looks real. And they can lower it to the point where it's a shadow. And then they can lower it to the point where I just have like a veil of something going over my eye at certain points. Sometimes my eyes are blurry. And if I focus on something, like in particular, a photograph of someone behind glass, I can see images of the thoughts of other people and I can say, oh, I would like to see so-and-so's face. And by accident, they will focus on their own face and then I will see them. And I saw a couple of them this way. I saw Edward Hamilton. He's an ugly old black bastard. And then Michael Warden, devastating looking. This dude looks like the devil. All these black men are ugly. I can't take it. They're ugly and they're scary and they're perverted and they're torturing me. They're raping me to death. Okay, so 4:43 in the morning this morning, I'm sleeping on the couch. Periodically, I wake up and I say, because I know that Charles raped a female. I said, who did Charles rape? Miller said, I said, what's her name? Miller, a psychotic abuser. She abuses me. I go to work. She's interfering with my work. She's pretending to be me at home. She's pretending to be me at work. She's obsessed with looking through my eyes. She's what you would call a ghetto monster or something like that. She's a monster. And but she gossips about everybody. She's in her 20s. She's a crackhead. She's been homeless. She has a criminal record. She's pathetic. Anyway, she said the name of the female was Sasha. I said, how old was she? I think I heard 17. I'm not sure if that could be a lie. But I do believe I got the name Sasha because I got a sense that they panicked. So Charles raped a female named Sasha. She could be underage. Now, he was arrested for child molestation. And he has a history of child molestation in his family. And he likes to lie and say that he likes to lie about other people. Okay, I am not interested in children. And I have a man. And he's a genius, okay? I like men. What else did I find out? Okay, so Charles said around 11:31 a.m., and this is why I grabbed the camera. I was trying to clean the house. And meanwhile, when I'm cleaning the house, they like to remember how I cleaned the house before. And the sodomite number 2, he also has AIDS and gonorrhea. He molested his little brother Timothy. He lived in Five Oaks in Dayton, Ohio. He says to the people that can see through my eyes, because the 2 gay guys cannot see through my eyes, and he said, what is she doing? She's doing the dishes. She's doing this. And how does she usually do it? Well, she usually does this. We'll tell her to do it that way. And then, they start to boss me around in the privacy of my own home. Meanwhile, they spent their welfare check on crack and cocaine. So Charles said to Gary, who's really into like hurting the black people. He's a black man. He's a loser. He's got rotten teeth in the front. He's a crackhead. This is just what they say about each other. He's disgusting. He's a pervert. He's a child molester. He's a rapist. He's bisexual. Charles said to Gary, the truth is you forced everyone's welfare checks. No, the truth is you forked over everyone's welfare checks to watch them. Them meaning me. So he's buying drugs for other people with other people's welfare checks. And he's using blackmail and bribery and lies and all of this. He also views, a lot of these losers view me and other people in the community of Montgomery County together in apartments. Can you believe that? Isn't that crazy? So Lori, a white female, somebody said, what does your apartment look like? And so she imagined her own home. And this is how you can spy on people. And someone said, you have a poster of a black man. What is that? And it was Marvin Gaye. And she said, Gary wanted the poster. And why? Why would Gary want a poster of Marvin Gaye in your home? And because he's black and she's been handled by black people. So she was gang stalked by black people and turned it. Now she's a gang stalker. She rapes me. She rapes a lot of other women. She's raped countless women and men. She's a psychotic, dangerous white female. She's psychotic. And so the sodomite one, who will give up information, this is on, I was at work when I heard this, 1/27/2020, at 6:54 p.m. They are viewing together. So he goes to her apartment, I guess, and they view me and other people, and they do sexual activity together. Now they're choking me. How they choke me is sodomite number 2 and 1. And sometimes Miller and Tasha. Those 4 will like to torture me with coughing. And at least once a day I vomit and choke. Even at work. What else? Did I find out? Other things, but basically, when a targeted individual says they have poor black people gang stalking them in synthetic telepathy, don't tell us that it's not possible. I just explained it and I'll say it one more time. Someone gets V2K who's poor. They hear the thoughts of someone, they don't know who it is. It could be anybody, poor or rich. You don't know who that is. That person says, after months or years of torturing them, do you want to be a gang stalker? Do you want a job with us? They asked me in the kitchen like twice, here in Kettering, do you want a job? Absolutely not. And what is a job? That they sexually assault people and spy on them. The gang stalking of Kettering, excuse me, because they just choked me, is that they rape you generally when you're asleep. So you fall asleep and they try to force you into sexual acts and with imaginary thoughts. And this is how they rape you. And then they force you to ejaculate or orgasm. And so these poor people say yes, they'll do that. The contractor will connect their brains and say, okay, now you're a perv. And that's it. That's how it happens. And this is happening around the world. Hopefully one day I can get an address. And when I do, I'm going to tell the world. Thank you for listening.